Chapter 719, Advancing. We were under the influence of an under-the-table transaction. Franca carefully reviewed the entire situation, but couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. The only thing that stood out was that the Demoness of Black probably had a way to quickly extract Morin Avigny while he was under the protection of an official Beyonder team. She clearly knew how to exploit the mirror world, yet she burdened everything upon her. Of course, her actions made sense when put into context. Even though Morin Avigny's security detail consisted of mid-sequence Beyonders, this was Trier, the capital of the Intes Republic. It was a diocese of great importance to both the Eternal Blazing Sun Church and the God of Steam and Machinery Church. Numerous demigods were posted there, ready to intervene at a moment's notice. If the Demoness of Black couldn't end the fight quickly and eliminate all witnesses, she would face severe repercussions. Official Beyonders might even track her using specialized sealed artifacts. If something happened to her, the Demoness Sect's Trier branch would be dealt a crippling blow. In a situation like this, it would be wiser for her to assign a capable member of middling rank to handle the matter while she focused on damage control. If things went south, she could easily cut ties with Franca and her lovers. This assumed, of course, that Morin Avigny wasn't valuable enough for the Demoness Sect to go to great lengths to eliminate him. If he were, the sect would have evacuated non-essential personnel beforehand and assembled high-ranking, color-named demonesses in Trier. I think there's an issue here. It's not that we shouldn't or can't abandon the mission, but rather that we gave up far too readily and hastily, Anthony remarked, analyzing the situation from a human behavioral standpoint. Franca nodded pensively and added, "Indeed. The Demoness of Black only briefly verified the absence of hidden Beyonders behind the mirror in question, before concluding that Morin Avigny had been abandoned and would receive no further assistance." "That's way too rushed and convenient," Jenna commented. After a moment's hesitation, she asked, "Was Madame Judgment affected as well?" "It's possible," Lumion glanced down at his chest. Lowering his voice, he asked, "Termaburose, why weren't you impacted? Is it because you're an angel?" Termaburose's imposing voice echoed within Lumion's body. "It's hard to say for certain. It could also be due to the Fool's Seal. While the seal does limit me, it can also serve as a safeguard under certain circumstances." Similar to Nabordisley's Abomination Corpse, the Overseer's under-the-table transaction couldn't breach Mr. Fool's seal, so it had no effect on Termaburose. Lumion nodded in understanding and said to Jenna, "We need to inform Madame Judgment of our suspicions. If an under-the-table transaction is indeed at play, she'll undoubtedly break free of its influence and offer new guidance once alerted. If she's unaffected, the messenger will just have to put in a bit of extra effort." "Got it," Jenna grasped Lumion's point. "Even though we suspect an under-the-table transaction, we can't act recklessly right now. We still require fresh directives from the major arcana cardholders." As Franca waited for Madame Judgment's reply, she let out a sigh. "Is something wrong?" Jenna inquired, her worry apparent. Franca responded with a mix of sorrow and outrage. This under-the-table transaction was exceptionally lavish. It impacted no fewer than 2 demigods. The overseer of the School of Truth must have paid a steep price and offered up a considerable number of precious items. "Sure, that's all true, but what's it got to do with you? Why are you so worked up about it?" Jenna blinked, struggling to grasp Franca's train of thought. Franca elaborated. "Once Madame Judgment apprehends or eliminates him with our assistance, there won't be much left in terms of spoils of war for us to divvy up. We might end up with another penniless target like Jebus." Lumion, Jenna, and Anthony were momentarily at a loss for words. "You're already worrying about hypothetical future spoils." Lumion shifted the topic and turned to Franca and Jenna. "When I posed those final 2 questions to Jebus, why did you 2 lean in closer to me? Did you sense that something was about to go awry?" "Naturally, it was a demoness's intuitive premonition," Franca declared smugly. "While I couldn't pinpoint what exactly would happen, being nearer to you provided me with more options for dealing with potential threats." Jenna gave a subtle nod, indicating that she felt the same way. Lumion faced Anthony. "What about you?" Anthony answered honestly, "I suspected that the last 2 questions would snap Jebus out of his hypnotic state. Franca and Jenna's reactions indirectly validated my concerns. Given that, it seemed prudent to take cover behind you too. So you're using us as human shields, Franca remarked with a wry smile. Anthony nodded earnestly. You two have mirror substitution at your disposal. Fair point, Franca conceded. After a short while, Madame Judgment's messenger delivered a response. The message was succinct: proceed with your course of action. Does this imply that the major arcana cardholders will monitor the situation? Have they consulted with Ma'am Hermit? Lumion nodded thoughtfully and grinned at Franca and the others. Let's stick to our initial plan. The initial plan, Franca started, taken aback. Precisely, Lumion confirmed, still smiling. Over the next several hours, potentially even a full day, the Overseer and the other mirror people certainly won't be guarding Morin Avigny from behind the full-length mirror in his study. That should be a necessary condition for the under-the-table transaction to succeed. The Demoness of Black has already inspected those locations, and the Overseer is unaware of when she might do so again. He needs to allow sufficient time. Put another way, if we conceal ourselves within that mirror, we'll be safe from disruption and harm. Jenna's brow furrowed slightly. But doesn't the heart of the issue lie in the fact that Morin Avigny won't be entering the full-length mirror anytime soon? How can we ambush him? Jenna abruptly trailed off, as if a thought had just occurred to her. Lumion's grin widened. The Overseer may resort to an under-the-table transaction, but so can we. Indeed, the authority holders under-the-table transaction. Franca immediately grasped Lumion's implication. Lumion planned to harness the authority holders under the table transaction to plant the idea in Morin Avigny's mind to re-enter the full-length mirror. As for how an under-the-table transaction would enable such an arrangement to work, that wasn't their concern. Even the Overseer probably didn't know the inner workings of the under-the-table transaction. Under-the-table dealings were, in a sense, a black box. With magic mirror divination verifying the level of risk, Lumion, Franca, Jenna, and Anthony ventured into the enigmatic and shadowy realm via the mirror world entrance affixed to the jutting rock. Surveying the spiderweb-like void passageways stretching to unknown destinations, Lumion activated the mirror mark contract imprinted on him. He then addressed Franca and the others. I can detect the full-length mirror and determine its precise whereabouts. In that case, let's make our way there immediately. Franca pulled up her assassin suit's hood once more and latched onto Lumion's arm. She had already donned the mirror cufflink, but why squander one of its uses when other means were available? As soon as Jenna and Anthony grabbed hold of him again, Lumion triggered the Spirit World Traversal mark and teleported through one of the dark, vacant passageways to a deep, black aqueous light. The aqueous light signified a mirror with a corresponding hazy zone linked to myriad illusory tunnels akin to spiderwebs. Lumion peered into the dark aqueous light and observed the scene through the glass mirror. It was undoubtedly Morin Avigny's study. Franca likewise recognized the target's position and breathed a sigh of relief. I'll handle the under-the-table transaction. Allow me, Lumion smiled. Given what transpired earlier, I might encounter demons even without the authority holders under-the-table transaction. In that case, I might as well use it freely. He was alluding to the events surrounding Nabordisley. Very well, Franca yielded to Lumion's reasoning. Then I'll cover the cost. She produced 5,000 Veril d'Or worth of gold from her traveler's bag. Lumion accepted without protest and said to Jenna and the others, the transaction I aim to complete is to instill in Morin Avigny the notion of entering the full-length mirror in his study. Then, I'll employ compelling fate to transform that notion into reality. This is far simpler than directly compelling Morin Avigny to enter the mirror. The price will undoubtedly be lower. Understood, Jenna retrieved the authority holders under the table transaction from her backpack. The small, dark wooden box still had 8 uses remaining. Lumion grasped Franca's pouch of gold coins in his right hand and reached through the membrane-like curtain. He then felt 5 damp, wrinkled fingers. They swiftly closed around the pouch containing the gold coins. Lumion's expression remained neutral as he articulated his request in Hermes. After a brief pause, The wrinkled, moist palm returned the pouch of gold coins. Lumian glanced up and apprised Franca and the others of the development. Franca promptly understood. It's demanding more money. Her heart sank as she produced additional banknotes and gold, but the slightly cold, wrinkled palm kept rejecting the payment. Lumian contributed tens of thousands of Viral d'Or, yet the transaction still wouldn't go through. Could it be that Under the Table doesn't desire money or gold? Jenna recalled Jebus's insights regarding the broker pathway. Perhaps it requires a mystical item, Lumian pondered, considering what he could offer. Franca deliberated for a moment before suggesting, "What about the blood gold ring? It has considerable drawbacks, and we've hardly used it." The blood gold ring had come from Mad Lady and corresponded to some of the capabilities of a sequence 6-rose bishop of the secret's suppliant pathway. The four of them conferred for a while before deciding to attempt the transaction with the blood gold ring. The moment the blood gold ring touched Under the Table, the 5 fingers of the palm clenched firmly and withdrew, taking the ring with them. This indicated that the deal had been finalized. Lumian exhaled in relief and remarked, "I'm curious to see how the under-the-table transaction will unfold." Franca pressed a hand to her chest and prayed to Mr. Fool, "Please don't let us run into any swindlers." Praise the Fool.